Hi everybody, so today I am going to make the other version of cornbread from Mark Bittman's How to Bake Everything. This is rich, sweet cornbread. So the cornbread we made before was the southern cornbread. It had no sugar in it. This, obviously, as the name implies, has some sugar. It also calls for 2 eggs, and you're actually supposed to separate the eggs, beat the yolks into the buttermilk, and then you're supposed to beat the whites to form peaks. But since I'm going to replace the egg, I'm actually going to use something different for the eggs than I have in the past. I'm not going to actually use ground flaxseed. I'm going to use the water from a can of chickpeas. So I'm going to make a few high altitude adjustments, and we're going to see how this compares to the southern cornbread, which was also really good, but this one's a little bit different. It's supposed to be sweeter and be a little bit lighter in texture as well, a little bit more cake-like. So I hope you enjoy it, and we're going to take a look at the ingredients. The ingredients we're going to use for rich sweet cornbread are cornmeal, flour, sugar, melted butter, salt, some buttermilk, baking soda, and like I said before, the water from a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas to replace a couple eggs. When you whip the water from the chickpeas, it is similar to what happens when you beat egg whites. So we'll see what that's like in a little bit here. Also with the buttermilk, again, I've said this before, I don't usually buy buttermilk. I just mix some vinegar with milk. So in this case, I increased the buttermilk up to 1.5 cups. So I used a tablespoon and a half of vinegar. I poured that into the measuring cup, and then I just poured milk in to get it up to the 1.5 mark. I also have the oven preheating to 400 degrees. That's up from 375, up 25 degrees. And I have a 9-inch square pan sprayed with some cooking spray. Here's the dry ingredients. There's cornmeal, flour, baking soda that I reduced from a teaspoon down to 1/2 teaspoon, some salt, and the sugar that of course makes it rich, sweet cornbread. I'm just gonna stir those together briefly just to make sure they're evenly distributed. Okay, and next we're gonna get to the really fun part. This is 6 tablespoons of water from the can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and we're about to start whipping them, and it takes about 15 minutes to get them to stiff peaks. So we will check back in with you in a little bit. All right, I think that is good. You can see that peak that's formed there that's not falling. And if I take the bowl off very carefully and turn it upside down, nothing's falling out. So that I think is good for what we're doing here. That's gonna give this cornbread some nice light, hopefully airy texture. All right, so we've got our dry ingredients. We're gonna put the buttermilk in. And you're supposed to combine that just until the dry is all moistened, which I don't think that's going to be a problem. All right, I think that's good. And then we are supposed, oh, there's a little bit still there. Hang on. Get ahead of myself. And then we need to fold in our beaten egg whites, which of course are not egg whites at all, but are in fact chickpeas. So, but that's what it looks like. It looks just like meringue. So I'm gonna plop that in there. Of course, being someone who doesn't cook with egg very much, I am not used to handling egg whites and trying to be gentle with them to keep the air from leaving, so hopefully I'm doing an okay job here. All right. But that was 6 tablespoons of chickpea water or aquafaba. And beaten for about 10 minutes. Didn't take 15 to get it to that stiff peak stage. Some interesting stuff going on here. It's slightly fizzing. I don't know if if you guys can hear that or not. But anyway, I don't know what's going on with that, but last thing we had to do is put in the melted butter. And we're gonna stir that in just until it's incorporated. And then we're gonna put this in the 9x9 pan. And I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes once it's in the oven and check on it, because that's how quickly the last cornbread got done. And we'll see. Okay, so I'm taking a look at it after about 20 minutes of baking. It's definitely browning around the edges. It's not quite pulled away though from the edge of the pan. So I'm gonna try the toothpick here. That came out clean. So I'm just gonna take another look here. I think I'm gonna pull it out because it is brown and that toothpick is clean, even though it's not really pulled away. Although, now the more I look at it, I think it is slightly pulled away from the edges. So there we go. We're gonna let it cool for a little bit before we eat it. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes, so it's still plenty warm, but we want to try it, and it's you're supposed to eat it when it's hot or warm, so we're gonna do that. We're not gonna wait for like supper time, because it doesn't really go with the supper we have tonight. So we're gonna have it as a late afternoon snack. Alrighty, okay, those are not really very even pieces. I think I'm gonna go with this one over here. There we go. Sorry. Keep down here, thank you. Yep, so it looks nice and light. Kind of looks like cake in my opinion. We'll see how it tastes. Definitely looks good. We're gonna probably have it with some butter and honey. Had a chance to try it. It is definitely not as dense as the southern cornbread, and of course it's got a little sweetness to it because it does have sugar in it. It's definitely got a lighter texture, but it's still quite moist. So I'm gonna see what everybody thinks, which one they like better. So Jacob, first you. Oh, you just took a mouthful. I'm really sorry. So which one do you like better?
This one.
Why?
I just felt like the other one didn't have as much flavor as this one.
Okay.
I agree with him.
So you agree with him? Why?
I think it's more flavorful than the other one. You had to put enough honey on it to make it taste really good.
Yeah, I feel like you had to put a lot of honey on the other one, but we like our cornbread sweet. So again, for those, you know, like he says in his book, some people go with the more savory type and some go with the sweeter, more cake-like type of bread, but they're both good. They both turned out great. The aquafaba worked well, I think, to achieve kind of what the eggs do when you whip them into a meringue to get that airiness into the recipe. So this, again, is Rich Sweet Cornbread from How to Bake Everything by Mark Bittman. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you are having a great day. Thanks for watching.